So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by clicking on the PayPal link in the description box. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Also, leave us a thumbs up. It helps us get more views.
Pat Buchanan has the big story after the coup. What then? And it goes on. After they overthrow Trump, he's saying, because that's the plan in D.C. now. Oh, see, I was the cook first saying it. Now it's all confirmed exactly as I told you. My guess, the reaction will be one of bitterness, cynicism, despair. No, it's going to be focused anger and just total economic warfare, pulling out of all the globalist systems, pulling our children even more out of their systems, the military turning against the globalists completely. I mean, do you think what happened with Trump was anything? Just get ready. We're going to win peacefully. And then we're going to even let you stage false flags that you blame on us, but we'll expose you did it. I mean, we've got your number. Despair, a sense that the fix is in, that no matter what we do, they will not let us win. If Trump's brought down, American democracy will take a pasting. It will be seen as a fraud, and the backlash will poison our politics to where only an attack from abroad will unite us. Yeah, and we've already been conditioned to accept attacks, like Stockholm Syndrome. Oh, just give in to it. Get into it. But look at how ruined MSNBC and CNN and all these other people are. 6% trust rates. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse. And everyone's pulling out of the fake liberal universities. They're collapsing as they become more mentally ill and ban free speech. And have cultural appropriation regulations passed that are directly out of Nazi Germany. I got an article on that today. There will just be an exodus of the sane people at a macro and micro level everywhere, and it's already happening. And then you will howl and scream and call for regulations to make us give you succor, give you truck, bring you to our table. It's not going to happen. The exodus is accelerating in the world, but not of it. And I look at people that think being patted on the head by the establishment. I mean, if they tried to give me a Nobel Prize, I would throw it in the trash can. And I'd take the money and give it to victims of UN-sponsored forced abortion in China or something along those lines. But people are like, oh my gosh, the prestige. I'm not just saying that. If they offered me a huge role in a major Hollywood movie, starring in a major movie, I would say, piss on that. And I have before, to major roles. Because I don't want anything to do with any of that. If they offered me a Fox TV show, I'd say, no, thank you. And I have. Mancow is a witness to me 3 times turning down my own Saturday or Sunday show. But I'd have to live in New York. And they go, oh, but we're getting you ready to be on Fox all the time. I don't want to. And then they had a Fox executive a few months later in New York Daily News saying I wanted to be on Fox, but they turned me down. Because, see, in their religion, they had to say I wanted them. No, I don't want you. Just like Matt Drudge doesn't want to be on Fox. You're a joke. I turned down the establishment back when I had nothing. And I'm not here bragging about myself. I'm trying to explain. It might have been a little hard 20 years ago to turn down the establishment when I was on like 10 radio stations. Might seem hard, but it wasn't. Because I had vision, my integrity. But now, it's a joke, isn't it? Hollywood's gone from not being very cool to really being uncool, hadn't it? Hadn't it? I mean, you can't get me to Los Angeles unless it's to go on Joe Rogan's podcast. And then all we discuss is, why are we here? He's like, absolutely, we should get out of here. Even if you're brought up over there, I don't know how you can be around it. And so that's all I'm saying. The world has nothing to offer past medicine and transportation and the beautiful sights God gave us. And the system wants to keep you poor, so you get that from them. Brennan, formerly of the CIA, the director, and others, Clapper, on the same program together last week with Wolf Blitzer talking about removing the president. And Blitzer says, you mean impeachment? They go, no, we're going to just remove him. It's about to happen the next few months, and everybody needs to get behind it so there's not a civil war. While they call for the civil war and violence everywhere. then I get in contact with some of my sources in D.C. yesterday. And, of course, a few weeks ago, we had the pastor on who met with Trump, Pastor Brown, a top evangelical, at the big prayer meeting 2 weeks ago. And then he was in a congressional meeting all day. And top congressman told him they're shopping martial law and the removal of the president, the killing of the president. And he's confirmed now, talking to the congressman again, it's the killing. The Secret Service visited him and said, who's the congressman? And he said to the Secret Service, it's all over the news. It's Al Gore. It's Brennan. They're all saying they're going to remove the president. They're in major publications saying kill him. They're saying hashtag hunt Republicans. Top Democrat strategists. They're funding cop killer groups. And CNN says when a cop gets randomly shot, well, cops better be good people and they'll stop getting shot in the back. I'm not just a pure defender of the police. When they do something wrong, I'll speak out, but I don't just randomly say, go kill cops because some other cop might have done something in another state. That's crazy. So they're trying to bring this country into anarchy so they can turn us into another Venezuela or North Korea. And Roger Stone, I talked to Roger Stone last night. He contacted me via text. I contacted him back. And he said, this is 7 Days in May, which, of course, is a famous 1960s film with Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster. It's excellent, dealing with generals in an attempted coup. And we see the Democrats, Limbaugh talked about it last week, are shopping to generals a coup against Trump. So I talked to him at length. And since this morning, we've been mulling what we can get into here on air. Because I have my sources in the Pentagon, my sources in Congress, my sources in the judiciary, my sources in Army Special Operations, all telling me the same thing. Then I talked to him, and he's telling me even more important information that is congruent with this from very high-level sources. And, you know, a lot of times we sit on info and never release it because we don't want to give up sources. But at a certain point, when the president's being isolated ahead of a coup and being treated like he's a child, it's treasonous. Now, no sooner had I hung the phone up last night that one of the things we discussed popped up on Politico. Because they never hold back what they know. And it's Kelly. Kelly cracks down on West Wing back channels to Trump. The new White House Chief of Staff is making its first priority to gain control of the information that gets to the president. By the way, Anthony Cumia hosts the show every 2 weeks as his own great compound media. He has given us the first 30 minutes today. I'll be popping in towards the end of this 30 minutes. But he was happy to give us his time because it's the only time we can get Roger on. So I appreciate Anthony Cumia riding shotgun with us and the great work he does. So he'll be popping in. We'll go a little bit longer than 30 minutes if we need to. But that's the facts here. And then Kelly's reportedly quoted saying, yeah, you know, Trump believes whatever he's first given, like he thought he was being wiretapped by Obama, which he never was. They were all over the newspapers saying they were wiretapping him. They were on CNN saying they were doing it. Then when Trump said that's illegal, they went, we never said that. So they quote things that Trump's doing that Trump's supposedly wrong about that are admittedly true. Then they got McMaster firing people that say globalism is allied with Islam to flood our borders when the UN admits that. So Trump is the real deal, but he's drawing from the swamp to drain the swamp, kind of like Treasure Island. You go out to get a ship to take you to find treasure. The problem is the pirates know before you what you're doing. They are the folks showing up to help you crew the ship. So it's Treasure Island. You got a few people in the White House that are good guys. Everybody else is led by Long John Silver. Now, who is the Long John Silver now that Priebus and now that others are gone? We're going to talk about that with Roger Stone and see how much he'll tell you. We're skipping this break coming up because there may not even be a show soon, folks. They have this coup of Trump. They're coming after everybody else. And at that point, we have no choice but to defend the Republic because they're not going to give us quarter. They want to extinguish the Republic forever. Roger Stone, thank you for joining us. The most important transmission ever so far. I'm sure they'll just get more intense in the weeks and days to come, but we are on the razor's edge. Please break it down.
Well, Alex, like you, I had a sleepless night. As you know, Donald Trump ran for president as a non-interventionist. When his generals, Mattis, Kelly, and McMaster recommended 150,000 ground troops for Syria on the tail end of what many believe was a false flag use of chemical weapons in Syria, allegedly by Assad, pardon me. And what I think has happened here in the effort to oust Priebus and Spicer and the establishment Republicans who were essentially junior leaguers to the deep state, we've had, in essence, what I think is a soft coup in progress. Now, the reason I say this is because a source at the very highest level of the administration tells me that Kelly seeks to choke off all communications between the president and his associates, friends, and many supporters. That secondarily, that the generals, Kelly, McMaster, and Mattis, have agreed that no two of them will be out of town at the same time. In other words, like the president needs to be babysat. And quite incredibly, that any military order given by the president must have the unanimous notification and approval of the three generals. That borders on the treasonous. At a minimum, it is the usurpation of civilian control of government that was vested in Donald Trump.
If you're interested to learn how to create content and spread content, we'll show you how. Go to the Operation How YouTube channel, click on the About button, and then click Message. Send us an email. If you want to engage, become an info warrior, we will train you up.
If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon below the video to get notified when the latest new content drops.
Keep us in your prayers. We get a lot of resistance for putting these videos out, but to Yahweh be the glory.